Alright. What's up, y'all? It shows most of us. Christmas, we're back in the video. Tune tomato toe. Don't know what is why you choose your name like that, but hey, dog, that's you. 4Kids run everything with anime. How they run everything though? It used to be my back in the day. I used to watch stuff like this. This I used to watch this on Saturdays. This used to only come on with Saturdays morning or early Saturday morning. My brother used to wake me up to watch I think it was Sonic X on here, and it was other shows too. That usually be on here, but make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe.
4Kids ruined a generation of anime. Back in the day when anime was airing on
make sure y'all like,
American
comment,
TV, since they were from Japan, they had to go through a licensing company. This infamous
make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow our social media will pop on the screen. We is on the road to 500 before anything else trying to interrupt me. And yes, we is on the road to 500. But get on to the video.
4Kids ruined a generation of anime. Back in the day when anime was airing on American TV, since they were from Japan, they had to go through a licensing company. This infamous company that were in charge of airing these animes was 4Kids. They were in charge of dubbing these from Japanese to English, and of course, making sure they were appropriate to watch. Appropriate to watch? What do you mean by that? I mean, first of all, to give some context, the anime they were licensing was stuff like Pokemon, Sonic X, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably thinking that's already for kids, right? Well, stuff that's for kids in Japan has a different meaning than we have here in the West. So stuff like showing cleavage, alcohol, and even guns sometimes were all being replaced with something else. With most of the time, the silliest stuff you can think of. The problem with 4Kids is that they not only censor stuff that really didn't need to be censored, like removing text from a sign. What, a kid's scared of letters now? But they were just horrible at censoring. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm gonna highlight the most goofiest and dumbest and sometimes fair censorships done by 4Kids, and why it's good they don't exist anymore. They had the biggest franchises in their hands and chose to mess them all up. And when I talk big franchises, the first that comes to mind is definitely One Piece. One Piece is more than just...
Yes, and they run everything with this, bro. I ain't lying to you. If I was the One Piece animator or the show creator, I would have banned this. This would have never came out of the light. I promise you, this would never. Now I had to do on some what they do off of SpongeBob, who created SpongeBob, and they kept making a season going on after he passed away and stuff like that. That type of stuff.
Just an anime now. It has now become a mega power and a political movement. But before it was as big as it is now in the West, 4Kids were deciding what to localize for the American audiences, and they decided to take One Piece. But if you watch their version, it's definitely One Piece. One piece of shit. They stripped away every soul to meet the requirements to being 4Kids. All blood completely removed. Every form of violence is cut. All guns are either...
I think they low-key changed it back though, because now on Netflix it's just like everything is different now. So, hey, who knows though? Yeah.
Water pistols, or whatever the fuck this is. And Sanji, the cook of the crew, his famous cigarette is replaced with a lollipop. Bro, who holds a lollipop like that? With 2 fingers? Speaking of cigarettes, one of the ops of the One Piece crew from the Marines, his name is...
Oh yeah, Big Smoke. he got all the cigarettes.
Smoking. What he's known for is, you guessed it, smoking. He has 2 big ass cigarettes in his mouth at all times. What do you think 4Kids did with him? Replaced with lollipops? Nah. He still smokes, but without smoking. You know what I mean? Like there's smoke coming out of him, but he doesn't smoke. The only soulful thing about this version of One Piece is the banger of an intro. Hey, 4Kids, you might have a worse version of One Piece, but I'm gonna give you this. This intro of One Piece is superior. So me. 4Kids also chose to change the names for absolute no reason. Like, the iconic devil fruit is called the cursed fruit. Luffy's brother Ace, his name is Trace. Swordsman
Ace with Trace.
Zoro, his name is Zolo. I actually thought
Zolo. Zolo don't sound that bad. But screaming, Zolo! I don't know. That don't sound right.
that last one was stupid until I found out that's actually his name in the manga, because the Japanese has a hard time saying like ro. They also chose to change some deaths, like Zoro's childhood friend Quina, who died originally from falling down a flight of stairs, but in the 4Kids version, she got beat up by some evil guys and made her.
Why? Why? Why they do that? And I thought she didn't die from like that. I thought she had like a little, like a disease or something like that. That's what I thought.
Disabled for the rest of her life. I mean,
Nah,
that's basically dead. I mean, whoa. I'm not saying that every chronically disabled person is basically dead, but you don't ever see her again after that in the 4Kids version. Not saying that if you don't see a chronically disabled person, they're dead. Another death that was changed was Belmir's, which is the adoptive mother of Nami. Originally, she got shot by the Mr. Evil Arlong, but in the 4Kids version, instead of Arlong aiming a gun at her, he points at her menacingly, saying, "Oh, you're going to prison now for life."
About a nice room in a dungeon for the rest of your days.
So she doesn't die, but it's just him pointing. But my question is, why?
What type of death scene is that? Yeah, you just gonna rot in jail for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, we're gonna do that. Wow. Right.
Why does his pointing look like clip art? Like, it looks like they just dragged and dropped a mouse cursor on top of the gun. Other censorship that was just plain stupid was they made a black kid white. I would assume it's for the red lips that might betray a racial stereotype.
I'm tired of y'all saying that us black people got red lips. We got black lips. Animators, future animators, stop drawing these pink lips. We don't got pink lips. We got black lips. If you got pink lips, you just must take care of you must take, like, you must be drowning with some freaking Carmex on your lips. I ain't never in my life saw somebody with some pink lips. Nah, bro.
Stereotype. But then why did they just recolor the lips instead of whitewashing? Listen, to be devil's advocate, besides the stupid censorships, One Piece isn't a show for kids. But even a show for kids are not for kids enough, apparently. The Pokemon anime was also licensed by 4Kids, so you know some dumb shit is about to go down. If you watched Pokemon as a kid, this was probably the version you watched, at least from their early seasons. Not only did they do their 4Kids sanitation.
Dang! I forgot my boy Ash to get smacked up. For what? I do not know. Yeah, I forgot. I remember, but that smack is kind of personal. See me? I would have just let her slap me too. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't hate women. Y'all thought I was about to retaliate and then come back and slap her? Nah. Who am I? But yeah. The only reason how I got Pokemon is on Boomerang, low key. Boomerang and Cartoon Network. Damn, I got killed.
Of removing all violence, you know, editing or cutting out guns entirely, removing alcohol and replacing them with juice. But they also tried to appeal to American audiences, so they Americanized the show. So, for example, they removed all Japanese kanji signs and posters and replaced them with American text. Onigiris were jelly donuts.
Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
And you can literally see the rice. What donut looks like.
I want to see what kind of... I'm missing the color. Yeah, I know. jelly don't look. I mean, the bread don't look this white now. It look white, but it's not that white. I just got done eating a sandwich. Like, come
Other
on.
times, an onigiri is replaced with a whole ass sandwich. Any references to God or religion was also removed. I guess that might be
Wow.
why they called the devil fruit the cursed fruit in One Piece. Like in one instance, Nurse Joy was hoping in the 4Kids version instead of praying to God. But despite all the weird and strange censoring though, 4Kids did what they do best. Best intro you could ever
Pokemon.
ask for. That's right. The most famous Pokemon song ever is 4Kids Responsibility. So on with the intros. The Japanese version of Pokemon though did include some
Let's go back.
dude. They can't go wrong with the intros. The Japanese version
Whoever did this animation on I think I think this is Jinx. I forgot his name. I think this is Jinx though. Whoever did this, you're wrong. You're wrong for that.
of Pokemon though did include some suggestive content. Ooh la la, wooga ah hooga. I'm so sorry. These were of course cut in the 4Kids version. Like James from Team Rocket enters a beauty contest
James.
where he wears inflatable breasts. Hey James, what's good? How you been though? Another
Nah,
instance
bro.
where a kid asked Misty if he could get breastfed, but in the 4Kids version got replaced with the kid accusing them for being a Pokemon.
You people or Pokemon?
Not only was this kinda fair for 4Kids to censor, since it might be too explicit, but it's also because Misty is literally 10 years old. Listen, I'm gonna have to give 4Kids this one. Kinda fair to censor. There was also other stuff that was pretty fair, like the racial stereotype of the Pokemon Jinx, and changed it from black to purple. I do not see an issue with that at all, since it is a
that's not an issue.
Pokemon and not really a human. Now, it sounds like I'm on 4Kids' side, but
It's not a problem, but in general, bro, science was different back then, and you seeing that, and your parents watching that show with you, they gonna think, oh yeah, that's a black lady. No, that's a black lady helping them out. That's a black lady.
that's because I am. At least in this instance of censoring. But the Americanization is kinda silly to censor. Another anime, and probably my favorite in this list, is Sonic X. Sonic X was a big part of my childhood. And like the people that grew up with it, definitely grew up with
I know y'all see. But I know y'all see who y'all see in that corner side, y'all.
the 4Kids
Yeah.
version. Unless you're Japanese, then konnichiwa, what's up?
Play the theme song.
Well, actually, in the 4Kids version, that gunshot would have sounded like a laser sound. Yes, every gun sound is replaced with laser sounds in Sonic X, which looks goofy because the guns looks completely normal. I don't know what's going on with the inconsistency with the One Piece with this horrible contraption and then having an actual gun here, but that's 4Kids for you. Other censorships done is like the violence, alcohol is censored with some fresh orange juice. Sometimes a wine bottle is replaced with a whole ass salami. Instead of recoloring it, they really sat down and spent time making this nice salami. I cannot do anything but
Nah,
respect
it's crazy.
it. They also removed all possible text written everywhere, so every sign, every label, every billboard is literally just nothing. The most likely reason is to make it more international friendly, since this is shown outside the US as well. What's not friendly is they edited Rouge the Bat to not show cleavage.
Yeah, they wrong for this. They was wrong. We can't miss none of that. I know y'all typing on the comments like, yes. Yes. Rouge was that thing. And I already knew Rouge was black the whole time. She kept messing with my dog Knuckles. I knew she liked some of my dog Knuckles. I knew it.
No. And
At one
other
point,
scenes.
I thought she was trying to mess with my dog Shadow. But my dude Shadow was probably worrying about something else. But who knows? He might already did it.
That were deemed suggestive. Like when Rouge the Bat got handcuffed by a police lady, her response is, "So you like to play rough, huh?" Well, Rouge the Bat, I like to play rough. I gotta stop flirting with every fictional character. But that got changed to,
You know, you're pretty tough for an old lady.
which doesn't really make sense since the police lady is not even old. Stuff like damn or damn it is also gone. One instance, on the Japanese version, Sonic says shit. And that obviously got changed in the 4Kids version.
Cream, hang on.
Another scene that I also, in my opinion, seemed very fair to change is when the whole gang was playing baseball against Eggman and his robots, and when it was Cream's turn to play, she turned on her puppy eyes and saying she's never played before, which overwhelms the robot with wholesomeness.
I've never played before.
In the original Japanese version, Cream the Bat flirts with this robot and confesses her love to it. The problem here is, Cream is 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I've seen people defend it saying, oh, well, the robot is probably like a week old or something, right? That's not the point. Point is the idea of a 6-year-old trying to be flirtatious. Okay? So in my opinion, that was probably a good call for 4Kids to do. And the most controversial change yet is Maria Robotnik does not die. For those who don't know Sonic lore, originally Shadow the Hedgehog and Maria escapes from gun soldiers, which in simple terms is the military, where Maria Robotnik gets brutally murdered by a gun soldier, and before it was too late, Shadow was sent to Earth. Truly an emotional moment, completely deleted from history in the 4Kids version. Because in that version, she gets taken away or captured, and completely cutting the scene where she gets shot, along with some other deaths that happens on Sonic X as well. Like the character Cosmo, where she originally sacrifices herself to save the universe, but edited all the parts out referencing any form of death. Another video game character that got an anime adaptation that also got...
Hey, Kirby, he gonna say the word right back at you. Yow!
acquired by 4Kids was Kirby Right Back.
Matter of fact, I might make me a remix. Crispy, he's the star of the show. Crispy gonna show the world right back at ya. Wow.
Yeah, Kirby had an anime. I did not know this, but anyway. I think you know the song and dance when it comes to 4Kids. Weapons, alcohol, and violence gone. So a scene, for example, with Kirby that held a submachine gun got completely cut, and a scene where DDD's chainsaw became a Star Wars laser weapon. I guess from what it looks like in the pattern, that laser sounds and laser weapons is in the green light when it comes to 4Kids. Alcohol is removed and bars in the show is replaced with food stamps. And when it comes to the violence part, it was not only physical violence that was censored, but also things like electrocution. There was also even some suggestive content where an episode about Otakings, which is basically a play on word for otaku. And if you don't know what an otaku is like a person that's obsessed with anime. And these Otakings are really obsessed with this girl called Tiff, which is a curb. Is that what they call him? I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I don't know anything about Kirby. But basically, they create like a highly sexualized anime version of Tiff. And, wait. This falls onto a pattern. Let me Google how old Tiff is. Yeah, 4Kids. You did the right thing here. These Ultra Kings need to take a seat, man. The deaths in Kirby was definitely held different compared to the rest of the 4Kids shows. Because they actually kept some deaths. And sometimes they made them worse. A snowman called Chili in an episode actually died. And in the original Japanese version, when throwing Chili into the sea, Tiff said she was sure he can be revived in a northern country where it snows. While in the 4Kids version, they actually completely cut that part out. Just dead silence. With Tiff just saying a sad farewell. Another instance of altering the story, 4Kids chose to give characters more quote-unquote personality by giving them accents. So King DDD got a southern accent.
Then why don't you predict what's gonna happen when I push this here button?
Meta Knight has a Mexican accent.
Don't you order another one of your
Not too bad.
And Blade Knight speak complete gibberish. I guess to make it more
Not too
silly
bad.
for the kids and match that Saturday morning cartoon vibe they were going for. That was one particular censorship they did though I find probably the most stupidest. That's when DDD was burning anti-DDD books in one episode, and 4Kids chose to censor that because I assume of the sensitive historical imagery of book burning. Dude, it's a book about a cartoon villain. Okay, I want to save the best one for last. This
Yugi.
one, 4Kids truly went all the way and
I
rewrote the
I
entire
was
laws
thinking
of
something. It was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Something like that. I forgot.
physics, lore, everything as we know it to make it Gaga friendly. Okay, not Gaga as in poop, but like Goo Goo Gaga. Sorry. Yu-Gi-Oh! Got completely pooped on by 4Kids. Okay guys, say it with me. Weapons, alcohol, violence. Moments like when the antagonist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pegasus, at least in this arc, took his men and broke into someone's office where they were originally holding revolvers.
And what they was
that got
pointing at them this time?
completely stripped away, and in the 4Kids version, they are just aggressively finger pointing. Kind of
that's true.
similar to what we saw in One Piece. But here it just looks more stupid. Or another scene where a dude called Bandit Keith lost a duel and got so mad he pulls a gun on Pegasus. But as you can imagine, with the 4Kids version, he literally just points at his head.
Hand over that prize money or else.
What particular change that made this 4Kids version so different is the creation of the Shadow Realm. And what that is basically is a replacement for death in the original. So whenever in Yu-Gi-Oh! They played the Shadow games,
This duel's now a shadow game.
and somebody loses, the loser dies. But 4Kids thought that was too much for the babies, so they created an entire dimension called the Shadow Realm. So instead of someone dying, they were sent to the Shadow Realm, which is a dimension of eternal torment for all eternity. I think I'd rather be dead instead of suffering forever. They kind of used the Shadow Realm for every kind of possible death that could happen. Like when the main character Yugi was having a battle with Arcana, got shackled to a wall with buzzsaws going towards them, where the loser gets their feet cut off. That does sound pretty brutal, and so did 4Kids.
Dang, bro, who would writing the plots of these things? Nah, you should work for Jigsaw. I'm not gonna hold you. You probably was one of them people that were putting your two pieces in there. You're like, yeah, they would be good right there if they chained up both to each other or right by a toilet or something like that.
So they changed it to dark energy discs that transports you to the Shadow Realm when touched. It was kind of 4Kids' scapegoat to avoid death. Even the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards got censored, with the most famous card in the entire game, Monster Reborn, got completely replaced with some sword-looking thing, which honestly looks kind of cooler in a way.
I'm about
But
to
they
say,
did
that
that
looks kinda
because they
cool.
thought it looked too much like a cross. This is an ankh. This is not religious at all, and is like an ancient Egyptian symbol. Even the littlest sign is considered too religious, I guess. Suggestive content was censored, of course, with even the monster having to have full body jumpsuits to cover them up, since 4Kids thought they were
Still
too
look good,
revealing.
though.
Hey, that's very halal of 4Kids, if you ask me. Pegasus as well, instead of drinking wine, he loves fruit juice.
And the world's finest fruit juice.
How nice. 4Kids did all of this censoring to make sure to keep that TVY7 rating, which means making sure it's for 7 or older, so they can put these animes in a Saturday morning cartoon time.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson. The Jackson 5 was on there. Fat Albert, I think Low Key was on here too. Man, who is this? Who is this? I know this. I know all of them, but who is this? I don't know who that
Time
is.
slot. And this was in broadcast television as well, which is way more harsher when it comes to FCC guidelines. So guys, let's cut 4Kids some slack, man. And without 4Kids, we wouldn't be introduced to any of these incredibly influential
Without 4Kids, I would have never had watched the majority of my childhood right there. That was half of my childhood too. Besides Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, Boomerang, 4Kids was one of the websites I watched too. And it was another website I used to watch cartoons too. Oh, and shout out to PBS Kids. PBS Kids. That's another thing. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow our social media, pop on the screen. We're on the road to 500, and I'm out.